The last few days with Tottenham Hotspur have thrown up some really random transfer rumours and deals. First of all, we had Somerville, a link to Somerville from West Ham, £25 million inquiry from Spurs, and that was a bit crazy. Then we've got this weird goalkeeper loan swap deal between Kinski and Hermansen. I've seen a rumour for Dragerson to West Ham. We're just doing a lot of business with West Ham, it would seem. I've also seen that Liverpool want Mickey van der Ven for £100 million. I've done all those reactions, but nothing is as strange as this transfer right here. I could have named any random club in the world and any random player, and I would not have said this club and this player. Tottenham are close to signing Andy Robertson from Liverpool. Let that sink in there for a minute. Did you have that on your 2026 Tottenham bingo card? Because I certainly didn't. I'm in an utter state of disbelief. I also want to apologise for the lateness of this video. I've had a really busy day at work with talkSPORT. Filmed the most recent episode of Inside Spurs, which is now live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. I'll link that above my head. Really good episode with Jess and Majestic. We talk about all those sort of things, the Dortmund game and previewing Burnley, transfers come up massively, Thomas Frank's future, so go and watch that after you've watched this. But today on the Sonny talkSPORT YouTube channel, it's the second upload of the day. I did a video earlier actually speaking about the most important players at Spurs. That's really worth a check out as well. But this is all about Andy Robertson, because Tottenham are odds on to sign him. It looks really, really close. They wanted to sign him apparently in the summer on a free, but they have accelerated it to sign him rather, this January. But before we go any further, a large majority of you watching this right now are not subscribed. It's around 80%, which is absolutely crazy. So if you are new around here, get down below, hit the like button, subscribe, also hit the notification bell to let you know when I've gone live, hype the video as well, and it's probably going to be a premiere. Get your comments, your super chats in, all that sort of good stuff. We want a little bit of debate. I want to know your opinion. Is signing Andy Robertson good for Spurs? I think it's a bit different because what we've been used to is Tottenham signing inexperienced, raw youngsters who possibly have some potential. I think of Wilson Odobert, Matisse Tell, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall. We've seen a lot of, glimpses from some of those players that they could become superstars one day, but not a lot. But Andy Robertson is different. He's a player at a club who's, on the, twilight side of his career, 31 years of age. He's on a hefty fee, wages that is. So we're going to have to pay up for him, aren't we, to get, a player of that calibre. Obviously, he's not what he used to be. When he was playing for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, even, last season under Arne Slot, he was, unbelievable. Him and Trent bombing on, crosses, goals, it's caused us a torrid time over the years, isn't he, old Andy? So when I saw this pop up, it was one of those ones where at first I was like, what is going on here? Have we just signed the Scottish Ben Davis? But when you actually take a step back, and I'm glad I've sort of done this video a couple of hours after the news from David Ornstein, I sit there and go, maybe it does make a bit of sense. Maybe this is the player that Tottenham do need at the moment. I'm talking about the leadership, the winning mentality, offering something at left back that we might not have. You've got to think of Tottenham's current left back situation. Currently, they have Destiny Udogie, who, amazing on his day, one of the best left backs in the Premier League, if not Europe, on his day. But his fitness record has not been great. So you've got that. Jed Spence can play left back. Thing with Jed Spence is I prefer him at right back. He played left wing against Dortmund, so anything's possible. Then you've got Sousa, who we've just signed, young and inexperienced. I could see maybe him being loaned out. That is a real big possibility in this world, because at the moment he doesn't speak the language. It's a new league. It's a strange position Spurs find themselves in. So maybe it would make sense if he gets loaned out instead of, going to Spurs this year. So, yeah, it's a real confusing one because it does throw up a lot of, random things when it comes to Spurs. I just think, I just wasn't expecting it. But the more I think about it, he could maybe play left centre-back if you really, really needed it. There is that possibility there. But as I say, the criticism is maybe the age profile is too old. Maybe this isn't a player that we need, especially at these wages. It seems like Tottenham are flexing their financial power at the moment. They paid a bit over the odds for Conor Gallagher and gave him the wages. They're giving the wages to Robertson. I guess, You know, at the moment at Liverpool, he's maybe a bench option. Kirk has, even though he hasn't had a good season for Liverpool, has sort of usurped him now with that starting role because they were a bit, um, you know, swapping in and out of the team. But then the other day I looked at Liverpool's bench and Robertson was the only defender on there. So they are a bit slacking. So I'm surprised that Liverpool are keen to get rid of him at this stage in the January transfer window. But at the end of the day, he's got 6 months left on his deal. Tottenham are interested. Tottenham are willing to give money. So, it's like Mark Gahey with Crystal Palace and City. 20 million's cheap for him. But if you can sell him for any fee possible, then it makes total sense. So yeah, it's one of those ones where obviously we'll see what happens. I believe Tottenham, at the end of the day, when we're linked to players, I'm not one of those ones like the Arsenal fans where they were petitioning against Noni Madueke and what the hell. I think the more I'm seeing online from the discourses, it started off really unsure, but as the day's gone on, everyone's like, oh, maybe this makes sense. Maybe Tottenham are doing something a bit different. Why not try something a bit different? What is there to lose? What is the risk? There's not much of a risk. It's just, a bit of an payment, there'll be a signing on fee, I could imagine maybe 10, 15 million transfer fee, which is what we pay for Sousa anyway. Why not maybe back a player in this position? Then at the end of the day, you've got Udogie and Robertson, you've got Spence and Porro. It helps Porro out because I think he's played too many minutes and we've seen his performances fall off a cliff. You're getting solid players in each position. I think that makes a total amount of sense to me. Basically, at the moment, it's probably a no-brainer because who else are we going to sign? I can't see with the current managerial situation, Tottenham going out there and risking signing a forward or a winger or a striker or anything like that or another midfielder because there's no point yet. We don't know the lay of the land. We currently see ourselves in a not good place in the Premier League. Champions League's looking a bit healthier. So why not give it a go? I don't know. I think this is one where you guys have got to get in that comment section down below and the chat on the side during the premiere and give me your thoughts because have you got the same thing as me as you're like, maybe this does make a bit of sense. Maybe this is one where, at the end of the day, we've got to maybe try a few different things in this transfer market. We have to go for a different caliber of player. Thomas Frank, when you look at how he dealt with that squad at Brentford, they did have the sort of, the older statesman in the building. I mean, look at it works for, like sometimes people talk about those clubs in the middle of the table, the Brightons of this world, Brentfords, all those sort of caliber of teams who are like on the up. They're not just all youngsters, are they? Like Brighton have got James Milner, who's like going to soon become the most appearances or make the most appearances in the Premier League. So you can see like why the thought process behind that one. So yeah, as I said, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Robertson is a good signing or do you think Tottenham should be looking elsewhere? Because as we record this on the 23rd of January, there's not long left of the window and Tottenham could do maybe a bit more. And as always, as I said in the intro, if you have enjoyed this, leave your likes, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hype the video as well. And until next time, guys, I'll be doing a reaction to the Burnley game tomorrow. So stay tuned for that and subscribe because you'll be able to see me either losing my head or praising the players because that's usually what happens during those match reactions. But yeah, until next time, guys, hope you have a good evening and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.